Hey y'all, welcome to Remote Viewing Investigations with Jessica. I'm your host, Jessica Jones. We'll be peering through the veil to shed light on mysterious cases from all over the world. We invite you to join us on this magnificent journey through space and time to try to unravel these mysteries. Please don't forget to give us a thumbs up, share this out, and subscribe to Texas Front Porch and to my channel, The Cryptid Huntress on YouTube. You can find us on Odyssey Radio and iHeartRadio and can contact us at Texas Front Porch on Facebook or email us at paracryptidencounters@gmail.com and oracleofthesouth@gmail.com. You can reach us through text at 972-559-0988. If you'd like to support us in what we do here, our super chats are open. Thanks and enjoy the show. Hey y'all, welcome into Remote Viewing Investigations with Jessica. I'm your host, Jessica Jones, and I'm so glad that you guys are here with me tonight. I have a very controversial target for tonight, and it was the 53rd anniversary of the Apollo 11 moon landing this week. Okay, so I figured I got several requests to remote view this week, and so I did, and I have some interesting data, and I'm going to have a little talk with everybody before we start the show tonight. In just a little bit, we'll get to it, okay? But I would like to kind of go over what this is, all right? So Apollo 11 launched from Cape Kennedy on July 16th, 1969, carrying Commander Neil Armstrong, Command Module Pilot Michael Collins, and Lunar Module Pilot Edwin Buzz Aldrin into an initial Earth orbit of 114 by 116 miles. An estimated 650 million people watched Armstrong's televised image and heard his voice describe the event as he took one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind on July 20th, 1969. The primary objective of Apollo 11 was to complete a national goal set by President John F. Kennedy on May 25th, 1961, to perform a crewed lunar landing and return to Earth. According to some people, Apollo 11 mission to the moon is the U.S. government pulling off the most spectacular hoax in history. Okay, so I know I have, there's a lot of people that don't believe this actually happened. Okay. And there are a lot of people that do believe it really happened. And there's basically two camps. Okay. There's either it happened or it totally didn't. And people are very animate about whether they believe it happened or it didn't. Okay. Tonight, I want everyone to keep a very open mind. Okay. Now I doing this remote viewing is, it's serious business sometimes. Okay. And it's not all fun and games. And sometimes there are targets that are, let's just say, kind of off limits, okay? And let's just say perhaps this might be one of those, okay? So I'm going to have to be very careful about what I'm disclosing tonight, and I'm not going to be able to reveal all my data tonight, unfortunately, okay? However, I have an entire show packed full of information, okay? And yes, you will see some of my data tonight, and I will be talking about it, okay? But just not all of it, all right? And there's a reason behind that, okay? And so to help me do this tonight, I have my wonderful, wonderful co-host from Texas Front Porch and Brunch with Bigfoot, Michigan Rob. I have Tex Wesson, and I also have Bigfoot, Michigan Rob here with me tonight.
Hey.
Hi,
hello.
Guys.
Happy Friday. Happy Friday.
Hey guys, I am so glad y'all are here. This is going to be a really fun show tonight. Okay. We got a lot to talk about. And I need to ask you guys, what do you guys think about the Apollo 11 moon landing? Do y'all remember that? Were y'all alive when this happened?
I was all two. I think me and Robert are the same age. I think we were 2 years old when it happened.
Yeah.
Oh, nice. So y'all don't remember it probably personally, but you heard about it.
Heard about it.
Yeah. Well, what do y'all think about it now? Is this like the biggest step for humanity that we've ever taken, or do you have doubts about what really happened up there?
Rob, go ahead.
I tell you what, up until about 3 years ago, first of all, I will say this. I'm not a conspiracy theorist, right? I mean, it's fun to dabble in that. I think we went to the moon. Although how it went down, I've had my doubts over the last 3 years. I'm not so sure that it went down exactly how they say.
Yeah. Well, that's kind of how it is with a lot of things that we've been taught and told throughout all the years. We get really fixated and kind of we start building our lives around our perception of things. Okay, and if they say that 650 million people tuned in to see this landing on the moon, the first step that man ever put on the moon. That's a captivated audience right there. Okay, so you can imagine if there's any time to really sway the perception of a gigantic audience, this might be one of those first times. That's one of the largest audiences I've heard of. Okay, for back then. So this would be
one of the things that a lot of people we forget about and we don't talk about. Is because if you hear a lot of people talk about the Apollo 11 landing on the moon, they think, oh, we did it once. No. We did it 11 times, if I'm correct, if I believe.
Maybe more. I don't know.
Yeah. I personally think we've done it a lot more. And how we got there, what happened when we were there, they probably didn't tell us everything. Okay. Right. But were we there? Yes, I fully believe we were there, and we were there numerous times. And I think we've been there more and more recently than they let on.
Yeah.
Okay. That's what I think.
Yep.
Yeah. Well. Okay. Well, I make no secret myself of how my team keeps our research secret. Okay. I have one team that talks about it publicly and the other two teams don't talk about it. Okay. And it's for what I would consider good reason. Okay. And that's just in my experience. Okay. It's to maintain the integrity of the research. Okay. And so I can understand, of course, we don't have taxpayers paying us as well, too. We're not getting funding from the government and things like that from people. So it's also like, well, if we're all paying into this, then we should know what's happening and what's going on, right? I mean, that's the way a lot of people look at it. However, okay, well, all right, well, let's go over some of the history real quick. Okay, so I've got some pictures here of the astronauts. I mean, this was a huge deal, okay, because back in 1961, President Kennedy wanted to be the first people on the moon, okay, and so he said that he was going to, ultimately put a crew of people. Okay, I hear somebody's microphone.
Okay, hang on a second. I think it's mine.
Text. All right, just mute it. I'm about to mute you. Just kidding.
I think it's gone now.
Yeah, well, he wanted. Yeah, that's good. So he wanted to put people on the moon, okay, and that was a big feat, okay, and so in 1969 in June, this is a 53 years ago this week. Whoops. All right, he put. Oh my gosh, I keep hitting the wrong buttons, y'all. I'm so sorry. They had a plan to. This was the path they were going to take. And first of all, if you're a conspiracy theorist and you see this map, what do you think of? I mean, y'all don't have to say it out loud, but I'm just saying. I mean, this is kind of funny. I don't know. Maybe I've just got a dirty mind. Okay. I'm like, is this all just really absurd or what? Or is okay, whatever. Okay. So they
looks more like an anatomy drawing than anything else. Let's put it
yeah, it does.
You got that in biology. It was in biology.
Yeah, use your imagination. All right, so they sent these fellas up to the moon, and I watched some documentaries yesterday. I always like to do my research, and I just got Discovery Plus yesterday, so I decided to start watching. So they had Apollo 11 documentaries, and I was like, "Oh man, this is perfect." Well, what really stood out to me during these documentaries was how the mission control people were saying how young they all were. Okay, like they had a whole bunch of youngsters working on this project, like 20-something-year-olds and 30-year-olds, which is kind of young if you think about it. Not that that's a red flag or anything. I'm just saying it was just interesting, good for them.
Too, I was reading something where, obviously, you said a lot of 20-year-olds or young people, but there was also over 400,000 people were working on this project with Kennedy, right, to send everyone to the moon. So there was 400,000 people working, and now we're going to get into it later in the show. But think about that; they're all young, and that's quite a bit of people. And if people were thinking that we didn't even make it to the moon, which I believe we did, that's 400,000 people that you have to convince otherwise to keep that a secret too. Once we advance in the show.
It is. It's a lot for people to all go along with a program or a lie, if that's the case. Okay. That's a lot of people having to keep a secret, However, I mean, we know people can do it, okay. So let's just say they made it to the moon. Okay. And so we got some great pictures, right. Of what the moon looked like, okay, and a lot of people say these are debatable, okay, that as to whether this was actually the moon or not. These are all very famous pictures from that mission, okay, and we've got even this one, okay. So the gist of it was that two of the gentlemen went down to the moon, and the other gentleman, let's see, Michael Collins actually stayed in the little spaceship and went around, and circled around while they went down to the moon. Okay, so Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin were actually walking on the moon. Okay, and there he is. Okay. Well, this is super controversial to a lot of people, because there's this thing called the Van Allen belt, okay, and it's full of radiation, okay, and a lot of people swear there's no way that this ship or these men could have made it through the Van Allen belt, okay, and I mean, some people even say that we live on a flat earth, I mean, it just depends. Everybody's got their opinions, y'all. Okay. And I am not going to say one way or another right now who's right, because I don't know who's right. Okay. I don't even know if I'm right half the time. Okay. But yeah, so there's this thing called the Van Allen belt, and the radiation factor, that's kind of a big deal. Okay. Because what does radiation do? Not only does it give you cancer, it'll fry you, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. Well, then we have, let's just say in 1969, the astronauts had a press conference, okay, on their return, and it was anything but happy. They look like they are like teenagers in high school that just got scolded by the principal, right? Okay. So this was like a red flag kind of, okay. People reported they acted very strange. And yes, I have seen the video of this, and it was a very kind of a strange, odd, awkward press conference. They acted as if they were kind of like under threat to not say what actually happened, like went on while they were in outer space, allegedly. Okay. Yeah, I mean, and so people had different opinions as to what happened and why they were acting like that. Some people were saying, well, either they just didn't go to the moon. I mean, this is not back then in the 60s, but they were saying, well, maybe they didn't go to the moon. Maybe they went and they encountered ETs. Okay. And they were told not to come back, but they were also told not to say anything about it. And yeah. And so there's a whole lot of conspiracies. Okay. Let's just say, this was all around the time too that, we're talking about presidents making deals with, ETs and things like that. Word of Eisenhower doing that is, pretty common. We hear that a good bit. Mm-hmm. But yeah, and some people say that, they look like they were reading teleprompters off the desk and being told what to say, perhaps by the deep state or whoever was kind of controlling them, I guess. Kind of like controllers, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, and they weren't really answering the questions correctly because they were like, well, they were asking Buzz, I think it was Buzz Aldrin, they were asking him like, well, do you remember seeing the stars when you were walking around the moon? And he said he started like stumbling around his words and was like, well, I don't remember, that's like something that is like, how could you not remember if you saw stars, when you were on the moon? So yeah. And of course, a lot of the transcripts of that press conference kind of got deleted or, kind of like wiped off or something. I mean, there was something funky about it. Okay. They said a transcription error. Okay. In those parts where they were asking him questions, in true form.
And so. I was going to say too, because when I talk tonight, I'm going to talk both pro and con. I flip back and forth with some of the details that I found, and you've shown the pictures earlier. Obviously, those pictures were doctored up because they look pretty good. Like some of the original pictures weren't quite that colorful, but they were even stating some of the really good pictures that they showed us way back when. They said the equipment, their gloves in it alone were so bulky that they couldn't figure out how they got off such candid shots, such clear shots with these. It's kind of like wearing like a hockey glove, try and take a picture with your cell phone.
Yeah.
So it's kind of awkward. And they also made mention of when they were leaving the moon and flying towards home to Earth, that they got a picture of the moon in the background. Yeah. When a lot of people stated that, well, when they're going from the moon to the Earth, there's no way there's no window in the back of the spaceship where they could turn around and actually take a picture.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's kind of
a lot weird. Of it doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Okay. And that's why people have so many questions. All right. Now, okay. So I did state in my intro tonight that there's some things that are kind of off limits when it comes to remote viewing. And a lot of that is like off-planet stuff. Not to say that people don't remote view it, but it's just something that is very, let's just say controversial. And I was reminded.
It'll get you put on the naughty list.
Well, let's just say I was reminded today.
Yeah.
To watch what I say tonight. Okay. So I am not going to be able to go over all my data, unfortunately. Now I will, we are going to talk about these conspiracies and yes, I will be revealing a little bit of what I did remote view. Okay. But I'm going to have to be very gentle with this tonight. Okay. So you guys, please bear with me on this. Dogman attacks are fine, but when it comes to the moon, we got to be real careful. Okay. What we're talking about here tonight, unfortunately. And, so, all right. Well, I just want everyone in the audience tonight to think, okay? I want everyone to think about your perception of the moon landing, okay? Think about what you believe and think about why you believe it that way, okay? Like none of us were there, okay? So none of us were there. There were only 3 people that were supposed to be there, okay, and the rest of us weren't, but we have that perception of what happened, and it's very ingrained in a lot of people's memories as to what happened. Now, what if, let's just say, what if that never happened? Okay, what if, and I'm not saying either way or another, I am going to reveal I am going to reveal if they win or not. Okay, I will. Now my data does reveal there's a lot of stuff that is inconclusive, okay, that was in my data because it was very kind of like, well, their mission, according to what I was reading, was they went to go take pictures and to film, okay. Well, a lot of my data is talking about how it was set up, and there was a script, okay, and everything was like they got a perfect landing, and it was like X marks the spot, and it was very choreographed, okay. Now that can go either way because it could be that was their mission, was to choreograph it and to get everything right and to film everything and take pictures just the way they did. But then there's the other side to where there's been accusations that Stanley Kubrick, the famous director, actually filmed the landing. Okay. And it was all fake because he filmed it. Okay. So that's, we're going to call it a conspiracy. However, my data suggests that there was a lot of choreography going on with a lot of this. Now, I'm going to say inconclusive with my data because when I was looking at the moon landing, and yes, I did go to the moon. Okay. And I think this is the first part of my data would be the moon. It was the moon. That was my target. But it starts muddying the waters a little bit when you hear the story of what Stanley Kubrick did, or allegedly, what he allegedly admitted doing, okay, was videoing that. Now, there's also, there's also the idea that I was told today that was actually a hoax as well. Stanley Kubrick, that was not actually Stanley Kubrick that made that confessional video. That was someone that looked like him. It was fake. That was hoax as well. So there's so much hoaxing going on here, allegedly. Okay. It's a little confusing. All right.
If I can interject, I was reading something where President Kennedy was really pressured in going to, he made that comment, we were going to be the first one a decade to go to the moon. Well, the Soviet Union had Sputnik out there, right? Prior to the United States. So he made this statement. So he was under a lot of pressure to get to the moon. And I heard that he had a plan. A was, yes, we're going to put our project together with NASA with our 400,000 people, our 20 somethings, and go to the moon and let's knock out this plan, this objective. But I also heard there was a back plan B, which is what you're suggesting with Stanley Kubrick, where they actually were going to have something to show the American people or the world if indeed they didn't make it to the moon.
That's what they say. Yeah. 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 So, all right. Yeah. Let's move on. Okay. I'm reading some of the comments. Let me tell you, there's people that are going to be really, first of all, I can tell people are going to be irritable, and they are right now, that I'm not giving my data out. Okay. There's a reason for that. So everybody, please calm down. Okay. Please calm down. Okay. And I want everybody right now to use your gut instinct and you decide what you believe is real. Okay. That's what we have to do now. Quit depending on other people to tell you what happened. Okay. And go within. Okay. Yeah. There's people that are invested in not letting the truth out there. Okay. And that's with everything in this world. Okay. And so, just bear with me tonight. Okay. I had a whole other show lined up for tonight, and it's kind of had to go in a different direction. Okay. Is all I'm going to say. So anyways, if anybody's triggered out there, think about to yourself, why are you triggered right now? Okay. Why are you triggered? When our belief systems are questioned, it makes people very upset. Okay. And we should not get upset about that. Just keep an open mind tonight. Okay. And I'm going to do the best I can tonight. Okay. So let's move on. All right. So there's another thing. Like, what is the moon next? Okay. What is the moon? Okay. If they did go to the moon, okay. Why would it be such a big deal? For these astronauts to come back and act weird about it. People say that they might have encountered ETs up there. Okay. Right. So, this is one of the theories that, they got up there and they encountered ETs. All right. Yeah. Okay. Also, this is what our history books say the moon is. Okay. It is a big mass, right? What is it? It's a satellite, right? Or it's the moon. Yeah. It's the Earth's moon. Okay. But some people say it is more than just a moon, okay, that it's like a spaceship or something, or it's got technology inside of it, right? So yeah, I don't know. That's another theory. Okay, now I'm gonna go ahead and just tell you what I can tell you right now. Yes, I did get that there were astronauts that did go to the moon. Okay, on this mission, yes, they went to the moon. Okay, they did. They were there. All right. Now, how they got there, it's up for debate. Okay, it's up for debate. All right, and so that's where I want everybody to put the thinking caps on. And did they go on their spaceship? Maybe. Okay, but they did go there. Okay, they did go. There have been multiple trips to the moon. Okay, and if you trying to think how to word this. There it's some of my remote viewing data. Okay, you guys, like I'm getting a whole lot of information about strange things. Like, I did Mel's hole. I remote viewed Mel's hole. Okay, and it was a wormhole. Okay, so we got to think, like, we got this technology. Okay, now there's rumors like maybe the technology was a whole lot more advanced than what they were letting us know. Okay, and so let's just keep an open mind about that. Okay, the technology could have been, and they say even today, the technology that is available is light years ahead of what we're told. Okay, so just keep an open mind about that, everybody. Okay, but yeah. So
I'd say we got more computing power in our phones now than they had to, trying to do the whole, moon landing in the first place.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So, like I said, keep an open mind about how they got there. But yes, I did pick up that they were there. They did go to the moon. Okay. How they got there is up for debate. All right. Okay. Let's see. Here is, so we talked about Stanley Kubrick. Okay. And so people said, that he had confessed to doing the video for the moon landing. And I actually saw the video, and it was very convincing. And I thought it was Stanley Kubrick. I had no reason to believe it was not. And he said that, yeah, he filmed that. And then of course we got The Shining. Okay. And one of the main characters in that film is wearing an Apollo 11 shirt. Okay.
Yeah.
So that's not obvious, is it? Like, I don't know. Just adds to the mystery of all of this. Okay. And yeah. So another conspiracy theory we've got going on here is the boot. Okay. The astronaut's boot, and then compared to the boot print on the ground. I mean, I don't know. I didn't do my research on this. This is just what's all over the internet right now. I didn't look at their boots. Okay. That's not what I was looking at. Okay. But yeah.
Well, my question, one of my questions is, if they did run into all this radiation and all this kind of stuff, are we sure that's even the real suits that they have on display?
Yeah,
or
that's
did they
true.
have to be, or did they have to be destroyed? So, or did they even have to be? They may not even brought them back with them. They may have jettisoned them, and so there's just a whole lot of ifs and not a whole lot of answers. But like I said earlier, I think they went to the moon. I think they made more trips than they admit today what they've made.
Yeah.
And I don't think they ever quit going. I really don't.
I don't think so either. Why would they? Why would we? Now, there is the subject of the budget with NASA. Like I saw an interview. Buzz Aldrin's like, oh, we never went to the moon. This right here, you guys have probably seen this. Because we didn't, a little girl said, why has nobody been to the moon in such a long time? And he said, because we didn't go there. And that's the way it happened. And if it didn't happen, it's nice to know why it didn't happen. So in the future, if we want to keep doing something, we need to know why something stopped in the past. And we wanted to keep it going. And then I think he went on to say the money is what he meant. Now, I got to tell y'all, just 2 years ago, Congress passed $22.6 billion for NASA for their annual budget. Okay. But this is the budget, NASA budget as a percentage of the federal budget. So, I mean, we have a big budget in the United States, apparently. But back in the 1960s, between 64 and 67, that's where the highest amount of money went, for NASA. Percentage of the federal budget, it was almost 5% of the budget, okay, for the whole United States back then. So, I mean, that's a lot of money to be putting into a space program, Yes. But yeah, all right. Well, talking about actually, let's stay on Buzz Aldrin for just a minute, okay? Because what I can say is part of my data did say it came up with gravity falls, and I was like, what is gravity falls? Okay. I just thought it was gravity, like the moon, or there was something. But, a lot of my data, like I do my research after I get done with my targets. And that's a cartoon. Okay. So it's actually a really cute cartoon. But, this was kind of associated with the Apollo 11 moon landing and whatever. And for people who are familiar and who aren't familiar with this, it's got a lot of occult symbolism in it. Okay. And I'm just putting this out there just as a little tidbit, a little morsel for the audience. For all you conspiracy theorists out there, especially, this did come up in my data, and I thought this was interesting because the head of one of the main characters is Grunkle Stan, okay, and he's wearing his, you're a Shriner's hat and whatever, kind of, and I may or may not have a grandfather too that wore one of those. I don't know, and so I recognize it. And so I was looking at that and I was like, oh, wait a second, there's Buzz right there. Okay. So I don't know what this has to do with anything, y'all. I really don't. But, and it also just all the cartoon is nothing but like kind of occult symbolism and things like that. And then I came across this with old Buzz here with his Illuminati fingers. Okay. So there's for all my conspiracy theorists out there. So, and of course we've got all of the, performers, which these are performers, actors, right? So, is it all an act? I don't know. Is this all an act? I mean, is it real? I mean, there were actual people that went to the moon. Okay. There was somebody on that moon. Okay. Now I do want to talk about what I can talk about is the work of a very famous remote viewer, okay, who did remote view the moon. And he worked actually for a 3-letter agency. And it is one of the most famous remote viewers, at least here. Okay. And that's Ingo Swan. Okay. And so he actually did remote view the moon. He didn't necessarily remote view the Apollo 11 landing. Okay. But he did, they were talking about, I watched or listened to an interview that he did earlier today. And he was talking about the truth about what's going on the moon and things like that. And talking about the activity that goes on up there. And yeah, I mean, he's remote viewed that he actually said there's air on the moon. Okay. It's not like you don't even have to wear a spacesuit up there. Okay. There's certain things that, even the moon, he said the moon is 500 million years older than the Earth. Okay. Some of the rocks up there were 500 million years older than Earth. Okay. That would mean it's not a satellite of Earth. Okay. And also he thinks it's hollow. A natural satellite would not be hollow, he said. He wanted to know, obviously, why did the Soviet Union and U.S. not go back to the moon? He was talking about how they had done missions there, all the Apollo missions, and they pretty much kind of aborted their missions, okay, and never went back. Now, why was that? He couldn't say why, okay. Why are there no high resolution pictures of the moon? I mean, maybe there are today, but when he did this interview, there weren't, okay. And yeah, he said that the pictures, just like the information from remote viewing the moon, it would reveal things that would make humanity here on Earth reevaluate our position in the universe. Because, we like to think that we're like end all be all here on Earth. Like humans are the top notch priority of the whole universe, but we're not. Okay. We're not. And that could be threatening for us. Okay. So, yeah, that's what Ingo Swan was saying. Yeah. Let's see. What do we have next? Trying to think where to go next with all this. Okay. Like I said, I have to be careful what I'm talking about tonight.
Yeah.
Right. Well, I don't think they got up there and ran into ET. I think they were probably invited. And I think that was the real mission, to get up there and see and possibly do some trading. Who knows?
Yeah. Well, okay. I can't say that I do believe that the astronauts did encounter there was some sort of ET in their environment. So there was some ET activity going on up there. I'm going to leave it at that.
Yeah.
Okay.
I would believe in that. I heard stories where we went to the moon, and one of the reasons now again, I think we've been back to the moon. I'm just talking what I've learned over the years or heard. And it's like, yes, we've been back to the moon several times. We did go to the moon, but I hear people talk about the fact that we did use alien technology to get to the moon the first time. Because if you go back, we talked about Eisenhower. And I also heard that when we went to the moon, we actually were told to get off of the moon by certain ETs and not to ever return. Right?
Yeah.
Now, whether you believe in that or not, but I've heard that.
Yeah. I mean, that's, there's a whole lot of information out there going around. Okay. A lot. And so, yeah, I mean, I did see, I honestly, when I first, before I remote viewed this, I wasn't sure if I figured they'd been to the moon. Okay. But I just was not sure about this actual mission. It just is what the kids say is sus. It was very sus. Okay. Suspect. There's a whole lot of stuff that doesn't add up. Okay. So I can understand it is very, like I said, just triggering to people. Okay. One way or another. And I can say, some of the data that I got, I wasn't expecting, because I wasn't sure they went. Okay. Now there's still a lot of inconclusive data that I got, okay, on all this. And a lot of it has to do with like how they got there. Okay. And things like that. But I do believe that they did go to the moon. Okay. And, but my data says that the technology was actually way more advanced than what they were telling us. Okay. And some of the stuff that we saw was not necessarily what they were using. Okay. And that's it in a nutshell. Okay. Right there.
Just like some of the pictures that they show, I heard again that they overshot that entire shot. That the pictures they showed wasn't even where they supposedly landed. They landed on the dark side of the moon, and there's a whole colonization on the dark side of the moon, alien colonization, where they were told to beat it. We were told to beat it, so to speak. I've heard that
too. Well, we have a lot of really interesting stuff on television these days too, when it comes to, traveling to other planets, and you hear about the secret space program and things like that. And I don't know a whole lot about it, but a lot of my remote viewing targets have to do with stargates, okay, and portals, or as Tech says, portholes, okay, and wormholes and things like that. And so, I actually pulled up a couple of pictures. I think this is from a show called Stargate, if I'm not mistaken. And, but they say these things could be real. I don't know. This, like I said, it does come up in my data quite a bit when I'm doing particular remote viewing targets. And that looks kind of like what a wormhole looks like a little bit. Okay. And who's to say that, maybe to get through that Van Allen belt, maybe they hit a portal or something. I mean, I don't know, my target basically was the landing on the moon. Okay. It wasn't really how they got there. It was once they got there. Okay. Yeah. And I didn't go a whole lot deeper because, there was no need. Let's just put it that way. Okay. Right. But yeah, who's to say that the technology, and I will say in my data that there was more technology being used than what was admitted. Okay. And I, my mind is so blown these days about like with the Mandela effect and time travel and all this stuff. It's so confusing, honestly, when it comes down to it. It's hard to wrap my head around all of this when it comes down to the meat and potatoes of everything. So, yeah, but a lot of people remember what they remember what they were told, and a lot of times what I've been saying this week and encouraging people who were going to watch this tonight is to just kind of think about the perception that we were given and see how that makes you feel. Like, do you believe that they actually did go to the moon? I mean, I've seen videos where it looks as though the astronauts couldn't swear they had been there. Okay. So, use your discernment with all of this. Okay. What do you think?
I was going to say that, I tell you, I think it goes from individual to individual. Like, if I never would have gotten involved with cryptids, if I never would have got involved with the things I'm into today, I would probably say that, yeah, we went to the moon, we landed, and everything's cool, like everything else. I would probably be the guy saying Bigfoot doesn't exist, but you know what? I saw Bigfoot, right? It'd be so. I think there's a certain percentage of the people that believe this wholeheartedly in conspiracy theories, and I think there are people out there that actually are in the know. They know what really went on, which, unfortunately, are we going to ever find that out? I mean, there's certain things you can and can't say, and other people that are even remote viewers that you just can't say certain things, or you don't have enough data, right? And I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about in general. So I don't know. If I never been involved with this, all I'm saying is I would say, yeah, it's malarkey. The moon exists and the Earth is round. But we went to the moon and the Earth is round,
Well, all I can say is I will not be remote viewing off planet anymore. It's all going to be Dogman attacks from here on out. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Well,
I would much rather remote view a Dogman attack. Okay. Yeah. Anyway, go ahead, Tech. Sorry.
Well, I was just saying, I'm good with that. I mean,
yeah.
But not jumping subject, but you broached it. Maybe we ought to remote view my encounter one of these days. But I don't know. I believe we went to the moon. I don't know how many times I can say it. I
can back it up. We have been to the moon. Yes, we have been to the moon.
Now, how we got there and what they saw when we got there, that's totally conjecture. Because I'm the first one to say this government or any government is not going to lay all their cards on the table. They're just not going to do it. No. And for good reason in some circumstances. You don't want to know everything that they're into. Trust me. But people say they want to know, and we should know, and there's an argument to support that. But if they did know, they wouldn't be so damn happy about what they knew.
Yeah. I can tell you what I saw was nothing that nobody's heard about. It was nothing that is not already out there. Okay.
Right.
I'll leave it at that. What I viewed was nothing outrageous that has not been heard before. Okay. It was a whole lot of several of the conspiracy theories tied up into a couple. Okay.
So let me ask you this question, Jessica.
Yeah.
Let's see if you can dance your way around this one.
Okay.
I'm
not doing the moon again.
What we read in the history books.
Yeah.
Now I don't even know what the history books today have probably been changed 1,000 times since I was a kid. But so what you're probably suggesting is what's written in the history books isn't really what went down.
Well, like I said, no, I think that I'm not going to say it's completely untrue. I'm not going to say it's totally true. It's the gist of it happened. Okay. Yeah, it happened. Yeah, we went to the moon. We definitely went to the moon.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I think
You
we
know
went
what?
to. Yeah.
There's a pretty direct question in chat, and it's an interesting one. It's a simple one. Did you see the U.S. flag when you were remote viewing?
Oh man. I did actually. Yeah, I did.
There you go.
I saw some interesting things. Yes.
There you go.
Yeah. Yeah. So I know. Like I said, y'all got to bear with me tonight. I've had to kind of change the whole program up today.
Yeah.
So yeah. But anyways,
Well,
it's just an interesting thing.
Yeah.
Right. Well, people have to understand. It's not just you that this affected and everything, and I've been watching chat and everything, and there's a lot of people there that are in have a lot of support for you because they
Yeah.
know what you're having to do with this subject and they respect you for it. But
Yes. I
what
see
y'all
that
don't
too.
understand is we've had to have a whole conversation just before we came online. Trust me and Rob don't even know. So, it's there comes a point to where you have to figure out who you're going to trust. I trust Jessica. So that's what you have to figure out for yourself.
You got to figure it all out for yourself. And what it comes down to is we have to stop looking to the government to tell us the truth. Okay, how about that? Quit looking to higher ups to tell you what the truth is. All right. What your gut tells you is probably going to be the truth. Okay, that's all I'm going to say. And yeah, we may all be on different timelines right now. However, your gut is not going to lie to you. So keep a healthy gut. All right, y'all eat right, get enough sleep, drink your water, and get healthy. Go for a walk every day. Get out in nature, okay? And quit looking to the government to tell you the truth about stuff, okay? That's all I'm going to say.
It's funny you should say that. It's funny you should say that. My doctors told me to drink 4 bottles of water per day, starting last Monday. Supposedly, that's the cure-all for everything.
Pretty much. It's. I think that if with all the conspiracy theories and like you were saying, Jessica, trust your gut, blah blah blah. My gut is all these conspiracy theories out there, every one of them probably has at least a drop of truth in it. Now whether you can put all those drops together or pieces of the puzzle together and make a whole picture, that's a whole different ball game. And I think that's exactly the game that they're playing. We got to remember, guys, disinformation is very big out there. They're going to be showing you what's in the left hand while what they're really doing is over here in the right hand.
Yeah. So, yeah, a lot of triggered people in the chat tonight too. So, ask yourself why you're triggered, you guys. Just ask. It's go within. My data suggested it says that they did go to the moon. Okay. All right. So there you go. They went to the moon. Yeah.
And I believe it, and I trust Jessica.
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah.
I said I trust you. You have to say
yeah. No, I'm talking about to the a lot of people that are because I said there's people are very enthusiastic about what they want to hear, and so yeah, it is what it is.
I think we
well,
like Christian Murphy says, we've been lied to forever, and it's not going to stop. It's
exactly.
It's not,
well,
no matter,
think about,
I don't care who you get in office or anything, because if you happen to get somebody in office that wants to reveal everything, they're not going to tell that person everything in the first place. And it's probably not going to be real healthy for them if they do step out of line. Just saying.
Yeah. Yeah. Just don't trust anyone else to tell you the truth. I feel like, people get irritated that our government's not disclosing all the truth about everything, about disclosure. Well, we are the disclosure. The ones of us that are out there in the field doing all this research, we are the disclosure, I just say don't depend on, just don't depend on other people in our government to always tell you the truth, because you won't get it. Okay.
Right.
Government's not going to tell you the truth about everything. So, yeah.
Or anything.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Yeah, this was a tough one tonight, y'all. This is a really tough one.
Yeah.
So
I guess we won't be doing the JFK assassination anytime soon.
well, now with that Mandela effect in that car, probably not. Probably not. Yeah. Yeah. So, I'm not going 2 hours with this one. So,
no, you did good.
We're not going with it. Yeah.
You had to dance around. You did a good job for dancing around, and
Yeah. Well,
we still
maintain
a big audience out in chat. So.
Well, if it
tells
Duncan's
you comment, that was kind of fun.
Which one?
Duncan's says I was searching for Charlie Daniels and wound up here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I can promise you next week will be a gory dogman attack. Or a Bigfoot. I don't know. But yeah, no more moon landings, no more Mars, no more nothing like that. Okay. And it has been stressful a little bit. And thanks for bearing with me. And well, I guess we'll see y'all next week on a different topic.
Well, just for the record, just so everybody knows, Jessica has no intention of hurting herself or others.
Right. None at all. None at all. So
thank you, Northern California.
Yeah. All right. Thank you guys for everybody in the chat, especially the ones of y'all that were nice. But anyways, all right. Well, y'all check me out. We're going to be on Spaced Out Radio all weekend, and it's going to be a good time. I've got Barry Littleton coming on tomorrow night to talk about the origins of aliens versus demons. Okay. And I have William Nighthawk coming on Sunday night. We're going to talk about Dogman, Skinwalkers, all that kind of stuff. So it's going to be fun. And
hey, you know what?
Yeah.
Since all three of us are here on Brunch with Bigfoot Rob on Thursday, Jessica did the remote viewing on Texas time loss. And for those of you who did not see that, go check it out. I'm not going to say anything more about that. But Tex and I, for the first hour, we're going to get down and intimate about his thoughts on that show. And then the Huntress is going to come on in the second half with her data to kind of blend it all together. So Tex Wesson talking candidly on his abduction.
All right. Yeah. Sounds fun. All right. Well, everybody, thank y'all for being here tonight. It's been just a pleasure. Okay.
Fun for y'all.
You did great, Jessica.
All right. We'll see y'all next time. Y'all have a good night. Y'all have a good weekend. All right. Bye, y'all.